Oh, every time. Every time. Gosh, what's up, everybody? How you doing today? It is Tuesday. 1 week away till the election. Can you believe it? We're almost there. Excuse me while I fight with this UFO. I got it. It's good. Let me spin this thing to start it off, right? How's your week coming along, everybody? My week has been, slow moving. I had a fun weekend with a buddy of mine. He was here for the weekend. It was really fun seeing an old friend. Today, some stuff happened. I don't know if you heard last night. Coney Barrett she became a justice. They officially confirmed her in. We're going to talk about that, read a little bit about it, some funny stuff that goes along with that. Then we're going to talk about U.S. versus China. Now, it might not actually be what you think. It's actually overfishing. About overfishing. It's overfishing. Overfishing. There it is. It's overfishing. Yes, I got it. Nailed it. We're going to talk about that, about what they're doing, what that's all about. And we're going to talk about this Walter Wallace thing that happened. It is a shame. They're rioting again in Philadelphia. I watched the videos. There's clear videos of what happened. So we're going to talk about that. It's going to be, I'll give you my thoughts on it. And then we're going to talk about this whole eviction ban. The landlords are suing the CDC. The CDC's fighting back, trying to put it on the president, making it the president's fault. Not really a surprise. We're going to talk about all that. But before we do, you can go to my website and donate to me directly if you'd like, and you can actually send me some Bitcoin if you'd like as well. I know it's surging, so people are probably hoarding it. That's all right. And you can also send me some physical mail if you'd like. Some people sent me some shirts the other day. I got some comic books. Really cool. I really do appreciate anything. So thank you for that. And there's my P.O. Box. P.O. Box 68, Brunswick, Maryland, 21716. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And you can actually go to my website here, which is adamcrigler.net, and check out the podcast, which now, because I do a podcast, I have now put it out on the appropriate channels. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the RSS numbers on there if you need that to plug it in and make it work for whatever podcast device you use. So thank you for that. And a lot of people have been asking. It's finally here. You can finally check out my podcast on other platforms. So we're branching out. So thank you very much for tuning in if you are on those alternate platforms and not watching live with me currently on YouTube. So thank you for that. I really appreciate your support. It's wonderful. So yeah, before we get into it, I was just watching Trump. I just got to say, Trump is like the master troll. This dude knows what he's doing. He's dropping fire on Biden nonstop. It's almost too easy. And you know what? He's got this look on his face like he knows it's too easy. He's like, this is too easy. Like, Biden's too easy of a target. I mean, there's so much stuff coming out. It's ridiculous. But he's not even going it. He's not even using all the stuff that he can. He's actually being rather nice, if you ask me. I think he's doing really nice. For Biden, which is not really surprising, but I don't know. I would have expected, but he's not a politician, so I guess it's not that surprising. He's just trolling him in the most, he's riding the line between too much and not enough. It's like right dead smack in the middle. So let's talk about last night. So of course there's all these people freaking out about what happened. And here we go. Senate confirms Barrett to Supreme Court and adjourns until post-election sessions. There you have it. They did it. Last night, they went ahead and they brought her in and confirmed her. She won 52 to 48, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, 52 to 48. Let's just read about it. The Senate voted to confirm Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett with 52 Republican votes over the objections of Democrats, who say Barrett was nominated too close to the election and will shift the closely divided court far to the right. While Republicans rejoiced at Barrett's confirmation, some Democrats are now threatening to expand the high court with new liberal judges if they take over the majority in next week's election. The Senate, meanwhile, won't be back for legislative business until a post-election lame duck session, dashing any last-minute hope that Congress would pass a new round of coronavirus aid before November 3rd. The final tally for the confirmation vote was 52 to 48. Barrett, 48, will be sworn in at the White House later Monday, and it will take place in time to hear a critical Supreme Court case that will decide whether Obamacare is legal without the now eliminated individual mandate, which to me, I mean, the individual mandate I think is ridiculous, because if someone can't afford healthcare at all, even Obamacare, I mean, it wasn't free as people, I don't know why they think it was free, because it wasn't free. And if even worse, if you couldn't afford it, you were fined by not having it. So it was a ridiculous system. I think it's fantastic that they eliminated the individual mandate, and I couldn't believe that it was actually a thing in the first place. Democrats warned she'll provide the vote to end Obamacare, including the law's protections for those with pre-existing conditions. This whole argument, gosh, with pre-existing conditions, both sides are arguing with each other that we're going to protect pre-existing conditions. You're not going to do it, and they're both saying it and pointing to each other. It's that Superman meme or Spider-Man meme pointing. No, you, no, you, no, you. Everybody, they're pointing at each other, and it's like, gosh, you have to realize everyone wants the same thing. The American public wants that. Let's just agree that that's a thing, huh? Pre-existing conditions you can't like charge someone more because they have pre-existing conditions. Can we do that? Everyone wants it. Everybody, both sides of the aisle. Conversation over. Thank you. Moving on. They don't want to do that. They have to keep blaming the other to try to make it seem like, it's actually a thing. Barrett will fill a vacancy left by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a liberal icon who died on September 18th and who Democrats hoped would have remained on the court until a potential win by Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden. Republicans were determined to usher Barrett onto the court by Election Day. However, Barrett was the top pick among conservatives and many Republicans on Capitol Hill to fill the vacancy left by Ginsburg, in part because of her anti-abortion stance and adherence to originalism, which calls for interpreting the Constitution as originally written. Judge Amy Coney Barrett is as impressive as they come, Senator John Cornyn, a Texas Republican, said. A widely praised legal scholar, Barrett said she models her judicial philosophy after the late Justice Antonin Scalia, one of the most conservative judges to sit on the court. She was confirmed by the Senate in 2017 to serve on the Circuit Court of Appeals. Her swift confirmation ran into a few hurdles, despite the staunch opposition from Democrats, because Republicans controlled the majority. Thanks to changes both parties approved in the last decade, judicial nominees require only a simple majority to win confirmation instead of the typical 60 votes required in the past. Barrett breezed through 3 days of confirmation hearings earlier this month in the Judiciary Committee and won high praise from Republicans for deftly navigating without any notes, answering tough questions, and countering attempts by Democrats to force her to reveal how she would rule on key issues such as healthcare and abortion access. The Senate remained in session all weekend, including overnight Sunday, to finish the required 30 hours of debate ahead of Monday's vote. Democrats made the case the Senate should have postponed consideration of a nominee until the election was over and the next president was sworn into office. Republicans in 2016 refused to take up Merrick Garland, President Obama's nominee, to replace Scalia 9 months before the 2018 election. It is 1 week before an election. We are here all night ramming through a Supreme Court nominee in record time simply because you can. Senator Chris Murphy, a Connecticut Democrat, said during a speech he delivered in the middle of the night on the Senate floor and aimed at the GOP. Not because it's good for the country, just because you can. Hold on. I just want to say there. Now, they were using, the Democrats are the ones that made this rule that you don't need to have the 60 votes. You just need the majority. So they were using the rules set into place, it's said by both parties over the past decade. It's funny how they leave that out. Although this is the Washington Examiner, it tends to be fairly center. I think it leans a little right, but there's nothing I don't think there was anything wrong with what was going on. Every single person out there can recognize that this election is probably going to be one of the most debated / fraudulent. Like, everybody's saying there's going to be fraud. Everyone's saying this side's going to cheat. This side's going to cheat. It's going to go to the Supreme Court. It happened in 2000. The Supreme Court said, nope, we're done. George Bush won. And they stopped the Florida votes because it was going on, and they were like, well, maybe these votes are fraudulent. We don't know. Whatever. Let's recount. Actually, no, we're done. Okay, that's it. So if there is a contested election, which we all think there is going to be a contested election, guess where it goes? The Supreme Court. So we have to have every single person on the Supreme Court vote, and that's why there's an odd number, and they replaced the seat. It's been that way for 150 years. They don't need to put more in there. Look, every time they say, well, we're going to pack the court if we win, what's stopping the Republicans from stacking the court, as you say? Wouldn't you, it's setting a precedence that I don't think they're really thinking through. They're just like blindly using their emotions to spout out what they're gonna do. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. It's like, whoa. You are not thinking this through. It's the same thing with the civil rights bill in California that they're trying to repeal. It's ridiculous. They're not thinking it through. For the few racists out there, or for the few people that are just whoever they hate, doesn't matter. They're opening the door for both sides, for the a-holes that actually want to abuse it because they are racist. Same thing here. They think that they're screaming out, well, we're going to pack the court. What's stopping the Republicans from packing the court, and doing that? Wouldn't you get upset, Democrats? I have a feeling the Democrats would start screeching if that was the case. They would definitely start screeching if the Republicans are like, fine, we'll pack the court. Whoa. Packing the court is definitely not okay. It's like, make up your mind, okay? There's a system in place. Mitch McConnell said it. Look, your feelings we don't make policy from feelings. We make policy from facts, all right? And this is what we need. We have the majority. And the president picked someone that we all agreed with because we have the majority. Talking about the Republicans right now in the Senate. That's how it works. Look, if you wanted to do it back in 2018, you didn't have the majority. You couldn't have made it work, before President Obama's nominee. Okay, well, you didn't have the appropriate amount of senators to pass the nomination. Well, the Republicans did, and that's why they did it. This guy says, you did it because you can. Right here, this guy. Chris Murphy said it. It's like, yeah, they did it because they can. And for the good of the country. He said not because it's good for the country. Well, listen here. It's not just because it's good for the country. It's also because they can. You're missing that. All right? Stop being blind to the things that you don't want to recognize or at least acknowledge. It happened, all right? Because they can. Jeez, here is a picture of Coney Barrett being nominated or being sworn in front of the White House last night. And I snagged it. I just kind of posted it up there. Of course, someone says, happy birthday, Hillary Clinton. Oh, that's funny. I got some funny people that follow me on Twitter. But here's something that I found really funny. Coney Barrett supporters turned the tables on anti-ACB protesters dressed as handmaids. Jeez. The trolling on the right, I hate saying right and left because it just doesn't make sense. Because everybody has their own definition of what the right is and what the left is. So I'll just say the supporters, all right, supporters of the newly minted Supreme Court, Justice Coney Barrett, trolled Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer by mocking the costumed anti-ACB protesters as Schumer's handmaids. A distraught Schumer slammed the Barrett confirmation by saying it will all go down as one of the darkest days in the 231-year history of the United States Senate. Despite Chuck's usual hysterics, Barrett was sworn in at the White House after the GOP-controlled Senate voted 52-48 to confirm her. Town Hall Julio Rosas tweeted, "People with Young America's Foundation are trolling the anti-ACB handmaids at Supreme Court by holding up signs that read Schumer's handmaids." Do I have a picture? Oh, I am super bummed. I thought there was a picture. I'm sorry, there isn't. That is such a bummer. I'm just trying to search for a picture real quick. I thought there was a picture. No, it's so funny. You know what? Maybe they removed it. Actually, I think that might have been the case. They might have gotten rid of it. Because I saw, when I first found this article, there was a picture of them, with the handmaid's tale, dress, the basic dress with the white, I don't know what this thing is called, the sunbonnet hat. I don't know. But it was funny. Oh, that's a shame. I wanted you guys to see that. Well, either way, it's hilarious. And guess what? Just like all the, he's not my president. Well, he is your president. He is the president of the United States. And this is kind of what we're seeing again, a little bit lessened, obviously. But yeah, she's on the Supreme Court. She's officially part of SCOTUS. Deal with it. She is your justice. Sorry. Not sorry? I'm not sorry. Who am I kidding? I'm going to spin the UFO for y'all. This is for the anti-ACB protesters. What do they call themselves again? Yeah, Schumer's handmaids. funny stuff. All right, next we're going to talk about actually I want to talk about this Walter thing, because this is just so for those who don't know, a man was shot in Philadelphia, and of course the news went out that he was unarmed. For at least a half a day, they were reporting that he was unarmed. Turns out he had a knife, and also turns out he was charging the police officers. They were constantly backing up. They went around two cars trying to back away from him. They did have their guns drawn because he did have a knife, but they were trying to say, "Put down the knife, put down the knife." They say it multiple times. I've seen the video. There's video evidence of the bystanders, watching what happened, filming it all. The dude had a knife and was going at the cops. What are you thinking? Okay, before I even read this, someone who has a knife can close the distance and he was 3 feet away from these guys when they opened fire on him. He could have ran at him, started stabbing him. Like, people don't understand the situations that these cops can be in sometimes. Like, it's a frightening thing to think about. Like, you can go from having someone and you don't know if someone's on something. You don't know where their head's at. You don't know if they're violent or not. But when they're not listening, when you say, "Put down the knife, stop advancing, stop, put down the knife," you're not listening. You're approaching a police officer with a deadly weapon. Yes, a knife is a deadly weapon. You could stab someone and kill them very easily with a knife. Okay? So, I mean, this video is crazy. Like, I've seen it, and I'm bewildered by the fact that people are now burning down Philadelphia. Put the knife down. Man shot, killed by police in West Philadelphia. Incident captured on video. Thank you for not adding the race of the man, Action 6, because he was just a man. I don't, that always bugs me, but when I see this, I want to call it out. Thank you for, putting that, because everyone, race shouldn't be put into this. 2 Philadelphia police officers shot and killed a man who authorities said was armed with a knife and would not put down the weapon. Officers responded around 5:30 p.m. Monday at the 6100 block of Locust Street in West Philadelphia for a domestic call. Here is Walter Wallace right there. Once on the scene, the officers were confronted by a man with a knife. Philadelphia Police Department spokesman Sergeant Eric Grip said, "The man has been identified as 27-year-old Walter Wallace." Grip said Wallace was not adhering to the officer's call to drop the weapon. Witnesses said Wallace's mother was trying to calm her son down and de-escalate the situation. Videos of the fatal confrontation recorded by a bystander and posted on social media shows two officers pointing their guns at Wallace as he walked into the street and around a car. The man walked towards the officers as they backed away from him, guns still aimed at him. "Put the knife down. Put the knife down," one officer can be heard saying. According to Grip, the two officers fired their weapons and struck Wallace multiple times after he would not drop the weapon. Wallace collapsed on the street. A woman ran up to him and began screaming. Distraught family members ran up to his body. While it's unclear in the video if the man had the knife, witnesses and police said he was holding one. At least a dozen evidence markers were found on the scene. Witnesses and neighbors want to know why less lethal force wasn't used. Why? You could have pulled out a taser. You could have shot him in the leg, says Jada Hilton. See, already, people just don't understand when you have adrenaline, even a bullet. I've seen so many videos of people being shot while charging police officers, getting back up, and continuing to charge them. There was a guy in the street that got shot 5 or 6 times, got back up, and ended up putting one of the cops in a chokehold while holding a knife to his neck. All right, this shooting someone in the leg. First off, aim small and hit small. I don't remember exactly what the phrase is, but you go for center mass. If you start aiming for small spots, you end up missing. You might hit someone behind them. They're trained for center mass. That's what's supposed to happen. And tasers don't work either. There's that video of them, 2 police officers tasing a man on the side of the road because he was fighting them, physically fighting them. He breaks out of the tasers, grabs a gun, and shoots them and killed one of the officers. These officers are trained for this, okay? They know if someone has a knife and they're approaching you and not listening, they are potentially killing one of those officers. That's where these officers are at, okay? When you approach an officer with a knife with clear intent to continue charging them, they were backing up. They made it seem like it was just around one car. No, they were circling away, trying to get away from this guy, all right? And he kept charging him. The mom was trying to hold him back and was unsuccessful in doing so, okay? And then he came around the car and approached them in the street. They don't know what was about to happen. What if he charged them? What if he closed the distance? You can close the distance 3 or 4 feet in no time. All right, if you have a knife, you close that distance and you're stabbing them and potentially killing these officers. These officers were protecting themselves. You can hear them. They're trying to de-escalate it. If he put the knife down, he'd be alive. I believe it. 100%. He would have been alive. If he put the knife down, he would have been alive. Guaranteed. They didn't want to kill him. Why would they say put the knife down? If they wanted to kill him, they would have been like, yeah, come at us. No, they're police officers. They're professionals. Okay? And now they're burning down Philadelphia. And not only are they burning down Philadelphia, they're looting everything again. What is the justice there? Okay? He could have killed the police officers. He was attacking them. Why was the mom holding him back? Why did she feel the need to do that? Why? Because she thought that he might actually attack them? Because that's what it looked like. Bystanders confronted Commissioner Daniel Outlaw, who rushed to the scene. She stayed calm, answering as many questions as she could. "I'm here to listen. I don't have answers for what happened today. It just happened. Obviously, we got to put everything together," Outlaw told the residents. In a statement, the commissioner said the video raises questions, but she assured the community that a full investigation is underway. Quote, it continues, "I have directed the officer involved shooting investigative unit to begin its investigation. I recognize that the video of the incident raises many questions. Residents have my assurance that those questions will be fully addressed by the investigation. While at the scene this evening, I heard and felt the anger of the community. Everyone involved will be forever impacted," Outlaw said. "I will be leaning on what the investigation gleans to answer many unanswered questions that exist. I also plan to join the mayor in meeting with members of the community and members of Mr. Wallace's family to hear the concerns as soon as it can be scheduled." By Monday night, a group of residents took to the streets protesting Wallace's death. Officers could also be seen setting up a perimeter around the 18th District Police Station. Police cars and dumpsters were later set on fire as police struggled to contain the crowds. More than a dozen officers, many with batons in hand, formed a line as they ran down 52nd Street, chasing protesters away from the main thoroughfare. The action cam also captured video of broken windows and vandalized vehicles along 52nd and Pine Streets. The group is also believed to be responsible for broken windows at a number of buildings in University City, including a police station and a Starbucks. At least 30 officers were injured in overnight incidents across West Philadelphia. Officers said one officer was admitted to the hospital with a broken leg and other injuries after being struck by a pickup truck near 52nd and Walnut Streets around 12:45 a.m. Police said an additional 29 officers sought treatment in area hospitals for injuries, most from being struck by debris. These officers have all reportedly been treated and released. More than 30 people have been detained, with several arrests reported as of Tuesday morning. The names of the officers who fired the shots have not been disclosed. Both were wearing body cameras and were taken off street duty pending the investigation. Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 5 President John McNesby expressed his support for the officers involved. Quote, Our police officers are being vilified this evening for doing their job and keeping the community safe after being confronted by a man with a knife. We support and defend these officers as they too are traumatized by being involved in a fatal shooting. We ask the public for its patience as investigators work to gather all the facts of this tragic incident in West Philadelphia today, McNesby says. I'm going to reiterate that. It was tragic. All around tragic. I'm saddened that this had to happen. A man has been killed. That's never good. It's never fine. Of course it's terrible. But people are rioting for the wrong reasons. They're screaming out as if it was some sort of, unarmed police brutality. But I saw the videos. It's not. They were backing up. They were pleading with him to put the knife down, to stop going after them, stop charging them. What was he going to do with that knife? He had a knife on him. He was going after these police officers. What did you think was going to happen? Okay? It's traumatizing for everybody on that block. And there's only one person to blame, and that's the person who had that knife that was charging those police officers. Not the officers. Now people are burning down Philadelphia because that guy decided to charge officers with a knife and got shot for it. It's a tragedy, but he shouldn't have been doing that. Now look at this. Justice for Walter Wallace Jr. What do you mean justice? What kind of justice? He was approaching police officers with a knife after they pleaded with him to put it down. What do you want? You know what? They just want to burn the system down. They just want to use anything they can to push the emotions of people that are emotionally triggered. That's what's going on. There's power numbers. Frontliners to the front. No good cops. No bad protesters. No bad protesters? Yeah. No good cops? You're completely wrong. Cops are there to protect us. Okay? They were there because they were probably worried he was going to hurt someone else. Then, of course, he turned his attention to the police officers instead of someone else. Had the police officers not been there. Obviously, they were there for a reason. Okay? Obviously, he was agitated. It's crazy. Look at this. This is probably from last night. Be brave, be smart. What is your plan? What are you planning to do? What is the justice that they're seeking? How can you get justice for someone who did it to themselves? Okay? I'm saddened that he died, but he did go at the cops with a knife. What is your plan with that? Okay, if they didn't shoot him, then what was going to happen? He was approaching them with a knife. The only thing I could think of is he would have attacked them with the knife. I saw the video. Okay, I saw it. It's a shame. So, I want to talk about something that the New York Police Department's doing. This is the kind of thing that I think is needed. All right, they've hosted. This is from their Twitter feed. They've hosted 6 police reform and reinvention listening sessions throughout the New York City, and will be hosting 2 more this week in Manhattan. Be sure to look out for links to register via Zoom or participate in Facebook Live. And that's Dormit Shea, the NYC Police Commissioner. And in that little clip, he's talking about how they have had an incredible drop of crime because they're being very specific with who they're going after. They're not just targeting everyone like New York City used to do, stop and frisk. Okay, that used to be a thing, which admittedly they admitted was racist. They were targeting specific neighborhoods, which is messed up, and specific races. That's racist. And I'm glad they're not doing that anymore. Now they're going after people who are known criminals that have histories with gun crimes, and they're targeting, and the crime was dropping. Of course, threw that all out the window when, the New York dropped the whole budget by $1 billion, literally $1 billion. So this is them actually going out, sending police officers into the neighborhoods and talking to people and having listening sessions, letting people talk to them. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm totally fine with that. They're literally the protectors of the communities. So for them to go and listen to the community, awesome. This is exactly the kind of stuff that we need. We need that connection. We need to humanize them, to realize that they're human beings. They're human beings that they didn't take that job, that badge to kill people. I'm sorry, you'll never convince me of that. All right? They took the badge to protect people. I know police officers. Every single one of them that I know is a good man and or woman. I don't know any actually female cops. So in my case, every single one of them is a good man. And I won't believe that any one of them got that job to hurt anybody. Quite the opposite. All of them want to just help everybody and protect and serve. That's what police do. Anyway, I just think they're burning down Philadelphia because they want to. Stop using someone as a martyr. He chose to attack those. He didn't attack them. He went at them with a knife. He was charging them with a knife. Now he wasn't running, but he kept following them and kept approaching them after multiple times they told him to put the knife down. So I'm assuming this is only the beginning. That he's going to be another martyr that they're going to use to prop up and spray paint his face next to, all the other people that they glorify when, these cops, they didn't want to kill him. Guarantee they didn't want to kill him. So this is just all around sad. All right, let's talk about this. The U.S. Coast Guard to net wayward Chinese fishing fleets. U.S. aims to stop Chinese illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing by deploying fast response cutters to the West Pacific. Here's actually an image of a bunch of Chinese boats tied together. Let's see, a picture taken in December 21st, 2019 of a South Korean helicopter shows 12 Chinese fishing boats banded together with ropes to thwart an attempt by South Korean Coast Guards to ships to stop their alleged illegal fishing in the Yellow Sea off the coast of South Korea. Tokyo, this is from Tokyo. White House National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien announced on October 23rd that the U.S. Coast Guard, the USCG, will deploy its new fast response cutters in the West Pacific to interdict Chinese fishing fleets' alleged predatory activities and ensure freedom of navigation. The White House statement said that the People's Republic of China's illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing and harassment of vessels operating in the exclusive economic zones of other countries in the Indo-Pacific threatens our sovereignty, as well as the sovereignty of our Pacific neighbors and endangers regional stability. To that end, the USCG is strategically home porting significantly enhanced first response cutters in the West Pacific. In fiscal year 2021, the USCG plans to evaluate the feasibility and basing fast response cutters in American Samoa. If the survey is favorable, the United States could further expand its presence in the South Pacific. So, we all know that the tensions between our countries are fairly high right now. It's Joe Biden, we see Trump's ad. He's basically just sucking on China's member. for lack of wanting to swear as much as I would like to about that whole situation. But that's really what it feels like. Oh, China's not so bad. Oh, China's economy, China taking over the world isn't the worst thing. It's like, yes, it is, Biden. They're literally trying to undermine, and they are open about wanting the entire world under their boot. They are open about it. They talk about it. They say the world would be better if they controlled everything. How does that not scare you, Biden? How can anyone vote for Biden? He literally wants to sell our country to China. He probably already did. Honestly, I think it probably did. It wouldn't surprise me. So this whole thing about fishing, I mean, I'm all right with it because the oceans are totally overfished. I think we don't understand the true value of the oceans. In fact, the oceans are truly our lungs. Check this out. It's just a random little thing. We've often heard rainforests are the lungs of the earth, providing us with most of our required oxygen. While it is indeed true that rainforests may produce up to a quarter of atmospheric oxygen, most of it is consumed by rainforests themselves by degradation of organic matter. Most of our atmospheric oxygen actually comes from the oceans. Now, I'm not reading that to get into that side of it, but that's the truth. The ocean actually provides most of our oxygen that we breathe. Now, when we overfish the oceans and when we are dumping stuff in the oceans and we think, oh, the ocean is so vast and so big, and then all of a sudden, the entire balance of the ocean gets disrupted, and then a certain type of algae might take over the entire ocean and just not produce oxygen anymore. Well, we'd be screwed if that was the case. And I found an interesting article here. This is from MSN. Not my favorite source of news, but it's dead on the money with what I was thinking. The U.S.-China fight over fishing is really about world domination. That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw that. When I first read about us sending, these little ships over there, the cutters, to try to prevent them from overfishing. It's just going to spark a war. I mean, China already is saying, get out of our South China Sea. This is our waters, okay? Even though that's breaking a treaty that they themselves signed back in, I don't remember when they signed that treaty, but it was about international waters. And China is basically, we don't care. Look, now they're trying to fish south of Korea and just wherever they want to, basically. So us sending vessels out there, I feel, is just going to push them, maybe not into a war. I don't want to say that. Well, let's just read about this here. China's aggressive, sometimes illegal fishing practices are the latest source of conflicts with the United States. China has the largest fishing fleet. Beijing claims to send around 2,600 vessels out to fish across the globe, but some maritime experts say this distant water fishing fleet may number nearly 17,000. That is a significant boost. That is 14,400 more vessels than they're claiming. The United States has fewer than 300 distant waterships. According to the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, nations control marine resources within 200-mile exclusive economic zones. Beyond that are international waters. While the U.S. never signed the treaty, it has declared the 200-mile offshore exclusive economic zone. Bolstered by generous subsidies and at times protected by armed Coast Guard cutters, Chinese fishermen have been illegally fishing near the Korean Peninsula and in the South China Sea, a hotly contested area claimed by 6 countries. By exploiting these waters, China has become has come to dominate the international squid market. Nearly half of the catch is exported to other Asian nations, Europe, and United States. Chinese ships have even pushed as far as Africa and South America, where fishermen have been known to remove their identifying flags to avoid detection. In 2017, Ecuador caught 20 Chinese fishermen in the environmentally protected Galapagos Marine Reserve and sentenced them to 4 years in prison for capturing thousands of sharks, the primary ingredient in Chinese delicacy, shark fin soup. In August, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo criticized China for predatory fishing practices that violated the sovereign rights of the jurisdiction of coastal states. This is getting out of hand. I mean, they are literally China basically acts like the world is already theirs. Let's be honest. They do. They basically pay for whatever they want, and greed is prevalent in the human race. We'll put it that way. And they are basically buying out poor countries that can't afford to enter the new age, the technological age that we're in, by saying, hey, we'll pay for your airports, we'll pay for your infrastructure, and you can pay us back. 5 years go by. Okay, the checks due. Oh, you can't pay us? That's fine. We just own the land that everything we built is on. Now that's ours. That's now Chinese land. This is happening. This has been happening. They are slowly taking over the world, and we are literally standing in their way. President Trump is standing in their way. Biden wants to sell them out. Biden keeps talking about how China's great. China's not a threat. China. It's like, okay, yeah. We definitely need to worry about China because they admitted multiple times they want to control the planet. The entire planet. They said the planet would be better off if everything was under our control. They said that. They want control of the planet. So this fishing thing, this is them just pushing and pushing and pushing. And now that we are sending these boats, the U.S. Coast Guard, these cutter ships, okay, these fast response cutters in the Western Pacific, I have a feeling this might spark something that we don't want. I don't want to go to war. I don't want anyone to die. I want everyone to be happy and have a wonderful life, and I'm finding out that it's not very easy to achieve that. And it's really a shame, because I feel like this is going to spark something. We already were worried about the whole South China Sea, them doing a flyover. They lased one of our ships back in April, I believe, or maybe it was March. They're pushing the limits of what they can do. Now they're sending out ships, fishing wherever they want. I mean, they're not coming over fishing Hawaii. They're not fishing the Americas because, we have a pretty tight locked grid around our country, I'm sure. But when we start sending our stuff over there to protect, what happens when China shoots and destroys one of our cutter ships, one of our Coast Guard ships? I fear it's going to happen. I see that it could definitely lead to that, and that's something that I fear. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to go to war, but how do we stop it? It's out of our hands. It's not, I can't do anything about it. I can't do, the only thing I can do is talk about it. This is my platform. This is what I can do. I can tell everyone to go vote for Trump because I believe he's the best. And China definitely wants to take over the world because I believe they do. From all of the research that I've done over the past 9 months of basically just my eyes glued into the news and paying attention to everything that's going on. Oh, man, we need to protect the oceans. I am very environmentally conscious. I do want to protect the environment. And, everyone tries to say that, Trump is against the environment, but it's like, he's actually not. He gave $4 billion to protect, our national parks and rehab them and help keep them protected. I don't know if you know about this. This happened about a month and a half ago. I mean, he's making big moves, sure. Okay. He took us out of the Paris Accords. Well, of course, we were also still moving towards a green. Everyone likes to say that we're not in this moving towards green energy. We are moving there. But everyone also has to understand that the world still revolves around fossil fuels. We can't just turn it off. Okay? We can't just end it. We have to wean ourselves off. Okay, we have to have an alternative source that makes sense, that is viable. Because right now, solar isn't necessarily viable. Neither is wind energy. I mean, we're working towards it, but we're not essentially there. So yeah, there's that. How much time we got? We got 7:15. All right, we still got a little bit of time. I'm gonna go over this next subject. Check us out. Landlords. Homebuilders sue the CDC over a moratorium that bans evictions during the pandemic. It's unconstitutional, plaintiff attorney Luke Wake says. Landlords and homebuilders have filed a federal suit against the CDC to get courts to lift the moratorium the agency opposed last month on evictions related to the coronavirus hardships. This lawsuit, Skyworks Ltd. versus CDC, was filed Friday in federal court in Ohio and names as defendant the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and agency director Robert Redfield. The CDC argues the eviction ban is needed to curb the spread of the virus. However, tenants that seek protection under the moratorium, even if they are not experiencing financial hardships as a result of the virus, according to the Epoch Times. The pandemic has left millions of Americans unemployed. The tenants establish eligibility under the moratorium by providing their landlords with a CDC-approved declaration stating that they make less than $99,000 annually, are unable to pay rent because of the loss of income, have tried to obtain government assistance, will try to make partial rent payments, and will be homeless or will have to move in with others if they are evicted. So that's like, what they have to prove. After they submit a declaration, a landlord can't evict them. The Times also reports it's unconstitutional. Luke Wake, an attorney with the Sacramento, California-based Pacific Legal Foundation, a public interest law firm representing landlords in this case, told the newspaper, federal agencies don't get to just make up law. Oh, that's the end of that. How do you feel about this? I find that it's kind of tough. It's a tough situation because on one hand, I understand where they're at. I kind of, I can empathize with what they're saying, because then there's people that need this though. I'm sure there's people that they're like, yeah, but they're just taking advantage of it. Well, if it's like a new welfare state kind of a thing. But at the same time, like I can get it, that, some people are screwed. Some people have lost their jobs and will be evicted with absolutely no one and nowhere to go and no help. And it's kind of, this is a tough call, because I do feel like some people should need help. But I also think that the economy shouldn't have been shut down in the first place and that the economy should be opened up and everyone should go back to work, and the governors that are locking everything down should shut up and admit that this is all just an action for this election to try to blame Trump and put it on him. Look, we need everything open, all right? Everyone needs their jobs because they are being evicted because they're losing their livelihoods. It's crazy to think about. And then, of course, to ban evictions during COVID-19, the CDC demands huge expansion of executive power. Oh, CDC, you're demanding, huh? A huge expansion of executive power? What? So they want Trump to have more power? Or wait, were you just waiting for someone who you want to be able to blame the president? Because if he had the powers to do all the things that everyone keeps putting it on Trump, but actually natural disasters fall under the governors that for each state has to take care of themselves. It's kind of how it works. Trump doesn't have the ability to tell the governors what to do. In fact, the Democrats made it very clear, don't tell us what to do. We're going to do what we want. We don't need your help. Back off. That's what they've been spouting for quite some time. So it's funny how they pick and choose when to blame Trump, when they can't blame Trump, when they can blame him for not doing anything. Silence is violence, but if you speak up, it's also violence. That's what it feels like. Lawsuits continue to mount against the Trump administration's September-issued eviction moratorium, which bans landlords from removing tenants for non-payment of rent through the end of the year and threatens hefty fines and even jail time for property owners who violate it. The statutes and regulations that the administration and the Center of Disease Control and Prevention are leaning on that justify their moratorium come nowhere close to authorizing a nationwide emergency ban on evictions, say a growing number of plaintiffs. Allowing the order to stand would give the federal bureaucracy near limitless authority to issue regulations and mandates in the name of public health, they argue. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that if the CDC's interpretation is accepted, it means the CDC can issue any of the same orders at all that any of the governors across the country have done, says Luke Wake, an attorney, which I already introduced earlier. Business closures, micromanaging the economy, what we can do in our private circles, that would all be under their purview, and that is actually frightening. So what I'm saying is, or what I'm seeing is, the CDC really just wants this power for themselves. They don't want the president to have anything to do with it. They want this power for themselves. They want it. That's what this is. You know, they want to be able to just say, we're going to lock everything down. We're going to say whatever we want to say. I mean, the CDC has been back and forth and back and forth, and it's getting ridiculous. Look, make up your mind, okay? Are the numbers faulty? Has the flu been eradicated? Did you see this? I don't have this pulled up, but I was reading an article that the CDC just said, you know, the flu numbers are the lowest in ever. Something, you know, it's like someone was like, did we beat the flu? No. Every single death is a coronavirus death. That's literally how they're doing it. They're just saying, oh, COVID death. No one dies of the flu anymore. Now it's just COVID death. Well, it's the symptoms of COVID. And even if you had COVID and you had the flu, I'm so sick of this whole thing. I'm just ready for things to get back to normal, honestly. I think that's the general consensus. It's like, you vote for Trump and it feels like everything's going to go back to normal because not my president, you know, that whole thing will spark up again. It's like they feel like they're going to have a landslide too, don't they? I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. There's not going to be a landslide. No. Trump's going to win. There's enthusiasm for Trump. I see absolutely none for Biden. None. Check out this tweet. I'm done with my segments, but I just want to show you guys this. It's ridiculous. Excuse me. I couldn't believe this when I saw it. Look at this. This is from Biden's rally today. He had like 20 people, 30 people maybe show up for him. But he wasn't even talking to the crowd. He was talking to a big teleprompter off to the side. It's like he couldn't talk to the crowd himself. What is this? How is this man running for president? Oh, my goodness. This is just ridiculous. And you can see there's another. This is him walking. Whatever. I'll let it play. Look at this. So he's walking with all the flags. Oh, sure. Now you like the flags, huh? You hear that? There's like 20 people clapping. I don't know if you can actually hear it, but let me turn it up. Can you hear it now? Yeah, you can. Look at this. Look how many people there are. That's it. And it sounds like there's like, I don't know, 20 people clapping behind. It's probably all of his staffers, to be honest. So, look, this is where I clipped that picture from. It's ridiculous, all right? God, this guy is so bad. He's so cringy. He needs a big old teleprompter. He can't even talk. He can't speak. He can't even speak. He called somebody George. Now, he was talking to George Lopez, but he called Trump George. How are you messing it up so badly, right? He gaffes on I forget whose show he was on. One of the freaking leftist media's show. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here we go. He was on Anderson, right? And this guy, this is verbatim. There's during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different than he called it the World War II. He had the War Production Board. You made it. You trying to tell me that was a stutter? Is that what they're trying to do? They're trying to convince us that, he's got a stuttering problem? No, he's got dementia. I've seen countless videos of Biden throughout his career. I've looked into his career. I've listened to his speeches over and over and over again. He didn't have a stutter. I don't believe it. It's dementia. This guy is running out of steam. He should be retired. Joe Biden, if you're listening, just retire. Please do yourself a favor. Look, when Trump wins next week, you're going to be able to go relax and really enjoy, life instead of being pressured and pumped with drugs potentially. I have no idea what's going on with this guy. But seriously, you need to relax, So look, once Trump wins next week, you can relax. All right. I'm looking forward to that for you, Joe. I think you really just need to live a nice, comfortable life. That is, if you don't get caught up in this, in your son's dirty business, which it seems that you are. Seems like you're actually pretty corrupt. Whether anything's going to happen from that, I don't know. So anyway, that's my show. I'm going to get into some super chats. Before I do, I need you to smash that like button. Smash it. Yeah, smash. Oh, smash. That's a pretty good smashing, I see. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to spin the UFO preemptively for all of you that are hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate you all hanging out. For those who would like to support my work, you can PayPal me directly. You can also give me some Bitcoin or send me some physical mail if you have any. There's a P.O. Box there, P.O. Box 68, Brunswick, Maryland, 21716. And that, so yeah, you can send me stuff if you would like. And thank you. Aaron Weiss says, hey, Adam. So when we terraform Mars, do you think Mars will try to secede from Terra and the Republic of Sol? If so, who will win the space war? Well, it sounds an awful lot like The Expanse. If I had to... So when we terraform Mars... Okay, so that means Mars has fully been terraformed, which means we have both Earth and Mars as a planet to live on. I have a feeling Mars would probably win... mainly because it'll be all 100% futuristic. 100, like, you know what I mean? It'll be built with fresh, like everything fresh. I don't know. It's like I feel like all of the technology that they will have will be 100% top notch at the cutting edge. So I don't know what the Republic of Sol is, though. You know, no one's gonna be living on the sun. I don't know what that means. So. The man behind the screens says, monkeys in space. Have some monkeys in space love. Some space monkey love. A little weird phrasing, but thanks. Thanks for the super chat. Mark Robichaw, Alex Jones back on Joe Rogan. Wow. I know. I saw that. I can't wait. I watched the Kanye episode, and man, Kanye's awesome. I got to give it up to Kanye West. I always kind of suspected that they were kind of throwing him under the bus and making him out to be some crazy, but dude is smart. He knows what he's talking about. You know, he's very, you could see that he sees the big picture. And that was a really interesting article or interview. And Alex Jones on Joe Rogan. So I'm looking forward to watching that. Chuck Morris says global cooling is the real problem. And that's another thing, everyone, you know, is global warming real? Is global cooling real? Like, what's really the thing? And I was actually watching I don't know if he's a scientist or he's an expert in the field, and he's saying, look, if we cut out all fossil fuels and all the stuff that we're doing, the world would probably still be changing. It's not like we're going to stop the change. Change is happening. So, I don't know. Mark Robichaud again says, Abraham 2016, George 2020, Trump 2024. Yeah. Oh, they keep changing it up. Mark Robichaud again says, I'm glad Alex Jones is still alive. Me too. I'm looking forward to watching that. Amy Coney Barrett says, I could never have been confirmed if not for your Adam and the truth he shares. Thanks, Adam. P.S. I will be willing to let you interview me about my farts. Thank you. I didn't know. Such justice farts. Awesome. The best kind of farts. Mark Robichaud says Trump is Abraham and George in Biden's mind. Yep, Abraham and George. Yep, he definitely called him Abraham Lincoln on the show, or on the debate the other day. Mark again says ACB is easy as 132. I see what you did there. Mark again says, watch John Talks videos on Joe Biden. Okay. The man behind the screen says, Adam, today is both my 7th wedding anniversary and my 15th year anniversary, or 15th year with my wife. If you have time, may I request your most romantic song so I can surprise her with it when I get home? Much love. My most romantic song. I think I can bust out a song I might have never played before. How much time do we got? 7:30? Oh, we got time. Okay. This is called what is this even called? I don't even remember this song. Yeah, I don't really have romantic songs. You know what? I have got one. Walking with You. I think that's my favorite, most pleasant love song. I, of course, wrote it with my wife, or about my wife, and she's an amazing person. Honestly, the most important person in my life. And this song is about her. It's about finding someone. Finally, I was walking alone, but now I'm with. I found her. So this is for your 7th wedding anniversary and 15th year together. For the man behind the screen, I of course call you Oz, because you are the man behind the screen. But congratulations and happy anniversary. So this is Walking With You. I took a walk tonight with my love, and all the cats are in the streets. Like us, they're trying to find a way home. Yeah, face life and land up on their feet. I'm talking about those little things that make you sing and feel alright, a natural high inside, like sunshine and rain. A fresh coffee to start my day. Well, I'm just glad I found my way home with you. I've been walking it so long. Well, now I'm walking with you. I've been walking it so long. Well, now I'm walking with you. I've been walking it so long. Well, now I'm walking with you. Sunsets along the colonnade. All good dogs and bad are on their way. Like us, they're trying to find their peace of mind. Yeah, face life and its insanities. I'm talking about those little things to make you sing and feel alright, a natural high inside, like a sunshine and rain. Fresh coffee to start my day. Well, I'm just glad I found my way home with you. I've been walking it so long, and I'm walking with you. I've been walking it so long, and I'm walking with you. I've been walking it so long, and I'm walking with you. I've been walking it so long, and I'm walking with you. Now I'm walking with you. All right, there you go, Oz. Happy anniversary, buddy, and of course to your lovely partner. So, all right, where were we? Paper City Gamer Jeff says 3 states get like 40% of Obamacare's e-money: California, New York, and Massachusetts. And my state, in Massachusetts, we had 98% coverage under Romney Care. Didn't need it. Interesting. Okay, so I don't know much about the whole Obamacare / Romney Care. I don't even know what Romney Care is. Mark Robershaw says, congratulations, man behind the screen. Best wishes. Jeb Bush says, everyone talking about Biden or Trump who will win, they're all wrong. It's clearly going to be me with a historic 100% of the vote and max turnout. That's funny. That's good. Insert Jeb Bush wins everything meme. Packing the Court says, I'm not okay to do. At least you're honest with us all. I appreciate that. Hydro says, how do you think it'll go down between tomorrow? Facebook, Twitter defend Section 230 to senators? Yeah, right. I don't think so. I don't know. We'll see. I am looking forward to that. Adam's Twitter handle. Why don't you make me sparkle? Got me looking plain. Yeah, it's pretty plain, isn't it? I know. It's just there, you know, like Adam Crigler. I don't know. Why? Because I don't know. If you want to follow me, you can follow me. There's my handle in my hand right now. You can also check out my website, adamcrigler.net. It's got all sorts of fun stuff, my skating, my music. You can also check out the RSS number for my new podcast. Well, my new podcast. This is my podcast, but if you want the RSS feed number, you can go check it out there, and has all the links to the different podcasts where we're at. Spotify, I believe, Apple Podcasts also. So thank you very much. Yeah, check that out. Let's see. Mark again says, bro, melee weapons classified unarmed. Now that's cool. I see what you did there. And Hershey Schwartz, thank you for becoming a member. Ping, 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 ping. There it is. Thank you. Byron Banks says, people that do not know the deadly force definition, continuum, triangle, or firearm safety rules should have no say in law enforcement reform. I agree. I mean, they take a training class. I haven't taken it, but I've watched the class on YouTube. You can even just do that. Just go watch what they're trained for, because what they deal with, and it's shocking what they actually have to deal with, and what could potentially turn into a nightmarish situation. Now, it turned into a nightmarish situation, but they have to protect themselves if they're being charged with a knife. So it's pretty crazy. Give me a second. I just had a jump. Kalatik says, nobody hates bad cops more than good cops. Absolutely correct. Definitely. China says, Joe Biden loves me. I believe it. Jared Kotvas says, 45 more kids just found in Ohio by the U.S. Marshals. Spin it for me. I actually did a segment yesterday on it, because they're heroes. It wasn't just 45 kids, but then over 100 were saved. 177 were arrested. Yes. And I did a segment on that yesterday. You could check it out on my channel. It's U.S. Marshals are heroes, I believe. I called it Real U.S. Heroes, and you can check it out. I just uploaded it today if you want to know more about it. The potential for a war with China says, I be scaring Adam. Yeah, I don't want to go to war. I don't want anyone to be at war. Fatty B says, I don't know about anyone else, but I'd like to see a deep dive on nuclear power. I actually have been talking to a nuclear futurist who would like to come on my show. So that's actually coming up soon. Steak and Eggs Hernandez says, Trump 2020, Northern New Jersey, holla back. What up, what up? How you doing? I used to live in Jersey. Not anymore. Devin Stark says, Mars will never be terraformed. It and the asteroid belt will be dismantled to create a Dyson swarm of 10 billion O'Neill cylinder cities. Interesting. Okay, Devin, I don't know where you get your information from, but that's a rather bold statement right there. Robert Wiles says, I found a baby picture of me. It is when I still had my foot before my folks had it removed. I had one bone in my leg, no ankles, 2 toes. Wow. Well, and now you're up walking around, right? So you've come a long way, haven't you, Robert? Definitely. All right, so that's my show. That's my show. I don't normally go till 8. Originally I was only supposed to do an hour, so this is kind of exactly what I was going to do. I actually don't think I spun it for Jared. I'm going to spin it for you, Jared. Did I spin it? Oh, I did spin it, but you know what? This one's for the U.S. Marshals that are out there saving kids. Because they're heroes. Simply put, they're heroes. That's it. So if you want to see that, go check it out. And I will be tuning in onto my Twitch channel later tonight with the Ferk. I saw him in chat earlier, actually. What up, Ferk? And go follow him if you want. It's twitch.tv/the_Ferk. You can also follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Adam Crigler. That's it. It's really simple to find me there. So I'll be back tomorrow. I am going to have some space experts. They're starting a space construction company and a space hotel, and the Orbital Assembly company, and we're going to be talking about space and what their plans are, the future of living in space. It's going to be a really interesting conversation, so tune in tomorrow at 6:30, and if I don't see you tonight on my Twitch channel, I'll see you tomorrow. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you next time.